Okay, welcome. Today we're going to look at solving application problems involving quadratic equations. So let's go ahead and take our notes out and let's get rolling. At any point in the video, if you are falling behind, remember to stop the video or pause the video and get your notes caught back up. We want complete notes. Also, if you didn't quite understand something the first time, stop the video, rewind it, and listen to it again. Sometimes it takes a couple times through to understand what's going on. Okay, let's get started on our problem. Our problem is if a rancher has a corral that measures 40 yards by 60 yards and wants to double the area by adding the same distance to both the length and the width, how many yards would he have to add to have a corral with the desired area? Okay, so our first trick in any word problem is understanding what they are asking for. So as I look at our problem, I'm looking for the question mark. If we have the question mark, we can see the sentence, and that usually tells us what they're asking for. So here's our question mark. In this case, the sentence preceding it is, here it is, we want to know how many yards would he have to add to have the desired area. And remember, earlier in the equation, it says it wants to double the area, so we had to kind of pick that up. Okay, the next step is read over the word problem or application problem. Are there any words you don't quite understand? If that's the case, then we need to Google those words and or look in a dictionary and or ask a friend. We need to understand the vocabulary to understand what they're asking for. We might also even have to ask ourselves, do we have all the information we need? Is there something we need to know? Do you know what a yard is? Oh yeah, that's 3 feet. Those are the types of questions we need to ask ourselves no matter which type of word problem we'll be doing. Okay, let's get going on this one. So I'm going to start with, now I know what they're looking for, I'm going to start with a picture. So I have this corral, so I'm going to go over the corner of my screen and draw a corral. We'll make him square. He is 40 yards by 60 yards. There it is. Okay, we want to double the distance by adding the same distance to both the length and the width. So I'm going to add on to my corral. So I'm going to add a distance. Now I don't know what this distance is yet, so we're going to call him x. And add the same distance to the width. So this distance and this distance will be the same, so we'll call them both x. And just kind of fill this in. This will be the desired new corral that will actually double the area. Okay, in terms of our new corral, I'm going to look at the side. So if I look at the, let's go out with the width. If I look at the width, I have 40, and this new area, or piece x, we added on. So this total area will be the x plus the 40. And again, that is this x plus this 40. I can add them up. Okay, the width of the new corral will be the 60 of the old corral plus the x. So I'm going to add these two together. This would be x plus 60. There we go, fit them right here in the corner. Okay, so the dimensions of our new corral that will have the double area will be x plus 40 and x plus 60. Now we need to go figure out what this x is going to be. All right, so it mentioned we want to double the area. Well, the current area of our problem is 40 times 60, which is equal to 2,400 square feet, or square yards. And we want to double that. So if we double the area, that's simply taking our 2,400 and multiplying it by 2, and we get 4,800. So our old corral, the 40 by 60, has an area of 2,400. Our new corral, once we figure the value of x out, will have an area of 4,800. All right, let's go set up the equation. It's going back to, again, the area of a rectangle equals length times width. Okay, so our area is going to be 4,800. That's going to be our new area, so we're going to substitute that in. Now this 4,800 is going to be made up of our length, our new length, which is x plus 40, times the width, and our new width is x plus 60. What we've done is set up an equation that we now can solve. So to isolate x, the first thing we want to do is simplify. We want to go x times x, which is x squared. X times 60 is 60x. 40 times x is 40x. And 40 times 60 is 2400. So a little technical difficulty. I'm going to go ahead and cross that out and write 24 right above it. There we go. And remember, our desired distance, the double area, is going to be 4,800. And again, we're working in square yards. Okay, we have a quadratic equation that still needs to be simplified, so I haven't forgot about that. We're going to put these two terms together, and we're going to do that the next step. When we solve quadratic equations according to zero product property, we want to subtract 4,800 from both sides. We want it equal to 0. So we're going to go minus 4,800. Minus 4,800. That goes to 0 like we want it. This would become, let's change back to blue, x squared. We're going to add these two terms together, and that would be 100x. And we're going to put these two together, 24 minus 4,800. Remember, 24 is half that, so it's going to be negative 2,400. Our quadratic equation is ready to solve by factoring. Our leading coefficient is 1, we have 24, so by using factoring techniques, we want factors of negative 2,400 that add up to our middle term coefficient of 100. So thinking 24 and 10, thinking some bigger numbers, I'm thinking 12 and 2 with some zeros. So this would be 120. And this one would be simply 20. Now because our middle term is positive and our product is negative, we're going to make our bigger term negative. We're going to make our smaller term negative. 120 minus 20 is simply 100. So we found our factors using factoring techniques. All right, lastly, it's going to solve, so we're going to put it in factored form. We have x and x. The first term would be 120. So this again is just factoring technique, stuff we know how to do. And from here it's solve. We're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So one solution is negative 120. Our second solution is going to be simply 20. Okay, two solutions. Remember, we're talking about distance adding to the side of the corrals, and we can't add negative 20. So, or sorry, negative 120. So it looks like x is equal to 20 will be our solution. So the distance we're adding to both sides of the equation are 20. Okay, if you have any questions, please jot them down on the side, and we'll answer them in class. Thank you.